Hey, Brian. I love the way you speak, but for me, it was the pants. I don't like the pants too tight, and that was just it for me.
Kids you got?
I got three.
You got three?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have three. I should have said zero, because it's just me.
You gonna lie to the public?
I should have said zero because really reality should be whatever I want it to be.
I'm Shay and I'm 37.
How you doing, Shay?
Bro, you can't even make this up. Her voice sounds like a chain smoker, 37, overweight,
Doing amazing.
3,
What do you do? So I work for the county and I have my own
employed by the state, of course. Check out my previous video when I talked about this.
hair business.
When Elon Musk talked about how we need to reduce the jobs, and I said, it's because they employ useless.
I feel like you're challenging the women. Oh, how many baby daddies you got? And then
I rejected you because I feel like you're challenging the women. And as boss queen threes that are overweight with kids, I think that we shouldn't be challenged because we're clearly perfect goddesses, embodiments of Aphrodite herself, pure femininity, she says while she croaks out the words in an octave lower than my own voice. There is a lot of delusion in the world. Some of it is propagated by social media. A lot of delusion is fostered in cult-like ideologies that lack dialogue or disagreement to step in the way of the dogma. But most of all, delusion is created by resentment for reality. That one word, resentment, is extremely powerful because it can motivate someone to say the opposite of the truth or do something that makes no sense just to spite the nose on their own face, because resentment for the reality which they deny and refuse to confront is too strong. With men, including the men from these videos, delusion is instantly mocked and bullied, as it should be, especially by other men. You saw me do that in a video that I did just recently. But what you see over and over, as well as proven in these videos, is that for women, delusion is a way of life, and going against their delusion is violence. And at minimum, it's emotionally traumatic. Despite being demonstrably and provably delusional, women, instead of holding each other accountable like men do, remember when I spoke about the bullying, will flock to each other and reinforce the lie because they themselves live by the same lie. This process can continue for years, to the point where a woman is 42 with 3 different kids, 3 different baby daddies, and it's from a sexual market value perspective in the 10th percentile on clearance. And you might see this woman turn down a man because of the types of pants that he's wearing. Or for instance, a woman who is 37, overweight, with 3 kids, 2 different baby daddies, and maybe she pops her balloon because the thought of accountability for the very failure which has brought her here, being single, is too much to bear. This guy walks on very confidently. So already, given that we know feminists resent masculinity and can't stand anything that reminds them of it, this is obviously an instant, I won't say turn off, because in their biology they find it to be a turn on. But in the doctrine, which they constantly tell themselves they have to adhere to in order to be a good person, they tell themselves it's a turn off. And so let me show you guys what I'm talking about here.
Honest about. So that's why I popped my balloon. And you kind of remind me of my nephew. Just kind of. It's this way.
Okay.
Kind of remind you of my nephew? Okay. So you said the deal breakers would be because I don't have a deal breaker?
Correct.
Okay, well, I could have a
I
clean...
need a man to tell me something. Tell me what he want and don't want.
And-
If
and
you
that
can't
will-
tell me that,
and
I
that-
might jump all over.
Watch him overcome this female chaos with complete coherence.
Yeah.
And that will come. Definitely. I would definitely tell you where you're going wrong at. But as far as a deal breaker, I have a clean slate with everybody. I'm the type to trust you before I not trust you. I'm going to give you that grace before I don't give you that grace, right? But I respect how you feel.
I like that response.
I like that response.
Might circle back, but
You might go get back?
might.
You want your balloon back?
Do you want that balloon back?
Not yet.
Okay. you got to get the gab I see, so we're just gonna.
I got the gift of gab.
Let's go on
It's
to our
transparency,
next ladies.
love.
Okay, if we can start off with your
What you
name.
see repeatedly over and over again is that the men are just so much higher quality than the women. And it's not only when the men are coming on to date the women, it's when the men are lined up to date the girls too. There is a massive gap in terms of quality of the human being, and that is because the expectation, again, for men is way higher than it is for women. Women are told nowadays that they don't have to adhere to reality because reality is oppression.
Name and age.
Hi, I'm Janae. I'm 34.
Hello,
And
Janae.
Janae, what do you do?
I'm in school for fashion design.
This is where it starts.
I'm an office assistant. and I'm a new entrepreneur. Just
Literally belly bulging out of her dress.
about to launch my fitness clothing line called
I'm launching my clothing line.
We Fit.
Okay, and why did you end up popping your balloon for Brian?
Hey Brian, I love the way you speak, but for me it was the pants. I don't like the pants too tight. I'm kind of ghetto too, so I like them a little loose.
Oh yeah, this guy said that he was from the ghetto and basically correlated this with his success story, considering that he's come such a long way. But the gall of this woman to pick on something so minuscule on him when literally she has enormous gaping problems. The equivalent would be seeing a little dot on someone's hand, right? You see a little dot there. And you're like, why do you have a dot on your hand? Meanwhile, your hand is like missing fingers and rotting. I think there's even a line about that in the Bible where it says, don't be so quick to spot the speck in your brother's eye when there is a log in yours, or something like that. But again, in order to exercise that mental clarity, you have to have self-awareness. And these women don't have self-awareness because they've demonized reality.
And that was just it for me.
Dude, literally 37. She hasn't admitted it yet, but she has multiple children from different baby daddies, and she's rejecting a man because of his pants.
Kids you got?
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies. Okay.
This is degeneracy. This is pure and utter degeneracy. In literally less than one sentence, he demonstrated that her life is in shambles and has been a train wreck. And she's like, but I think your pants are too tight. And they're not even like tight pants, as like they were showing a second ago. Like those aren't skinny jeans. They're like kind of normal. They're pretty much normal pants.
Got 3.
You got 3?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have 3.
You got 3 baby daddies.
And so he challenges her. He's like, so just to be clear, we're going to state reality, right? You have 3 different baby daddies.
Okay.
I should have said 0. Because it's just me.
You gonna lie to the public?
I should have said 0 because really reality should be whatever I want it to be.
I have 3, but it's just me. I'm
This is where you start to see her get emotionally triggered, and she tries to bring him into her emotional triggerdom. This is what women try to do when they're being held accountable.
a single parent. There's no man in my life.
No man in your life? Why is the
My
reason
boys.
for there no man in your life?
Well, my first child, his father passed away, and the other 2 are nowhere to be found. So, what can you do?
They do you like that? What's wrong with them?
Something. Only God knows.
Or is there something wrong with you?
Possibly.
Dude,
But
he just asked her point blank.
I think I'm just fine.
I think I'm just fine. 3 different baby daddies. I'm just fine. You go, girl. Reality's oppression. Accountability, that's toxic.
You're just fine as well.
Thank you.
Right. But to say that a 41-year-old man is disqualified because of his pants,
You're 41?
I'll be 41 in September.
Okay, because I was like, I thought you said 40.
I'll be
Why is she arguing over if he's 40 or 41? He just said you have 3 different kids from 3 different men. She's like, I think you're, a couple months exaggerating on your age when you're in your 40s. So basically, you're equally as a failure of me. These women think that they have to be on the same level as all men automatically because feminism, in its alignment with the left, tells women there can be no difference between people and that everyone is equal. People are equal in terms of their intrinsic worth of their soul, but they're not equal in terms of where they are in life or their success in various hierarchies. This guy is way above him. Again, she's on clearance. She has failed. She's overweight, in her mid-30s with 3 different kids from 3 different men. And she wants to act as though she's on the same level as this guy. This is a common thread you see, and the reason why these parts of the videos get watched so much, as you can see, is because when there's a guy that is ultra high value, women randomly, with no evidence, just assume that they deserve him. This is how you get 4s saying that they deserve a 6'4" billionaire. Almost every single woman, if not every woman that is lined up here, is overweight. But they all think that they're 10s if you were to ask them. You see this on Fresh and Fit all the time.
41 in September. That's coming up.
And he remains calm and corrects her again. But see, her being corrected just triggers her because it reminds her that objective reality is judging her.
Like it's okay for you. It's not my style. With everything going on, I like the pants to be
Everything going on like this gut spilling out of this dress.
a little baggy, that's all.
Where you from, love?
Bro, he's not even criticizing anything about her when he could criticize 10 times as much.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. How long you been out here?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Dude, okay, interacting, I'm just gonna be honest, interacting with this type of woman is so awkward because it's like talking to an emotionally unstable man. That's what it is. And as we all know as men, emotionally unstable men are ultra low value because they can't be relied upon. They're weak, they're fragile, they're unreliable. But in some ways, it's even worse to be that way as a woman because then you're not attractive and then you're useless. Literally an argumentative 3 thinking that she should turn down a guy who is echelons above her because of his pants. And she's on a show for being single. That's the irony of it. I'm not just like picking on a random woman off the sidewalk. She went on a show because she's single and trying to date someone.
Let's go on over here. If we can have your name and age.
I am Venusian, 39.
But the delusion doesn't end there, guys. It ramps up.
And you said Venusian?
39.
And what do you do?
I'm a TikTok creator manager.
A fake made up job,
Cool.
whatever.
And why did you end up popping your balloon?
I'm a free-spirited woman, so having to check in with somebody like they are my parent is something that I don't
So
subscribe.
he never said that, by the way. He said he doesn't want a girl out partying constantly. But again, any restriction on unbridled femininity at all is labeled oppression. This is the reason why people ask, oh, does she have a bad relationship with her father if her life is destroyed? Or more often, which is what people are starting to ask now, is she possessed by feminism? Basically, the ideology of pure death when it comes to women because it destroys their mind, it ravages their psyche. It tells them that any form of coherence and masculinity and order and competence are signs of oppression. This is the cardinal defect of feminism that is destroying women, and even destroying women to the point where they're in their late 30s with multiple different kids in terms of desirability in the 5th percentile, like all the way to the left of the bell curve, and they're still like, oh my gosh, I'm a boss queen, I'm literally staying around for my Prince Charming, when they don't even qualify to date a construction worker.
Subscribe to, so that's why I pop my balloon.
What do you mean check in like they're your parent?
It's great how he just stays extremely calm and asks a direct question.
The way that you were discussing how somebody needs to constantly, when we're out and about,
Never said constantly.
to text or call and check in, that's something that I don't subscribe to, so that's why.
And she's acting like she's a boss queen. She's acting like, oh my gosh, yeah, my standards are so high. I'm such a good person. My standards are so high. You're single. You're on a show for dating because you're single. You're single. You're running out of time. TikTok, well past the wall. But I'm a boss queen. I deserve a man who's not going to put any parameters on me. Who do they think these women are going to attract? It's bizarre. Like, best case scenario, let's say you get a guy in the middle of the bell curve because you're in the 10th percentile. Let's say you can attract a guy that's like, let's say she attracts a guy that makes like 75K a year, is slightly above average, which she would be very lucky to attract, extremely lucky. And then she's like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have to give anything in return for this. I am the table. Anyway, yeah, I have 3 different kids from 3 different baby daddies. Like, these women's brains are broken. If it seems like a psyop, meaning that the destruction of their brains is deliberate, that's because it is. Feminism orchestrated this.
I pop my balloon.
Okay. What do you do?
He's just like, okay, yikes, yeah, you don't qualify.
I'm a TikTok creator manager.
TikTok creator manager? For what company? Or is it for yourself?
It's for TikTok.
For TikTok?
Social
That's so disrespectful. That's a completely legitimate question. She could be a freelancer. She could be working for a content creator.
media.
Okay, social media?
Social media agent, yes.
Okay, how many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many,
And he just snaps back right at her. There it is.
hey, baby daddies?
2.
Bro.
Okay, social media?
Social media agent, yes.
Okay, how many kids you have?
I have 2.
How many baby daddies?
2.
It's disgusting how that's even a question of asking how many kids a woman has. And it obviously is something they have to deal with in this community, especially according to the data. And the black women are wondering why black men don't want to date them. It's because they have an attitude, they're argumentative, they're masculine, while having multiple kids being used up on clearance and acting like they're the Queen of England with their gut bulging out of their dress.
2? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No?
Accountability.
Okay.
Oh, dude, and then another overweight boss queen pops your balloon. You can't make this up. You can't make
Okay.
this up.
I was just asking because for real men, that's what matters.
Dude, I just want to go back so you can see, like, what are these? Like, what are these? You know, I actually don't think any of them are above a 5. Yeah, maybe debatably none of them are above a 4. You know what I mean? It's really, that's crazy. That's
Okay. I was just asking because for real men, that's what
You
matters.
see, what you're seeing in front of you guys is 4s rejecting a guy that they could never attract in the real world if they weren't on a dating show. He's talking to them because they're the only women lined up. In the real world, he doesn't have to deal with women of this caliber. These are women of no caliber, but they've been made narcissistic by an ideology. This is why feminism is so dangerous. It ruins the lives of women. And then they'll go home and blame him for why they're single, even though they're the ones who manifested the degeneracy.
Your first one is given. Your second one, the mistake is on you.
Oh, is it? Well, there's
That's definitely
circumstances
right.
under why I got
That's
pregnant.
definitely
but
right.
Okay, a very interesting aspect to the internet is that you see people of different echelons interacting with each other when that would never happen in the real world. I'll give you an example. You will never interact with Elon Musk because you are not in his circles at all. And there are so many echelons of society that separate you and Elon Musk. But when you bring the internet into the equation, anyone can tweet at Elon Musk. Or when you bring the internet into the equation, you can have a 4 who has no prospects in her late 30s with 2 kids from 2 different baby daddies talking to a guy who has his life together who she would never be able to qualify for because on top of being an overweight 3 with 2 kids, she's argumentative and masculine. And then she thinks that she can argue with him. Whereas in the real world, this is prevented from happening because they simply will never meet each other. These people will never meet. And if she's lucky enough to even be in a circle that surrounds him, the social cues and social dynamics will remind her that she's not on his level. And it's really gross. It's really cringe to see this happening in real time because she doesn't even understand how much she's embarrassing herself here.
that's nor here or there, and that's
Yeah,
not
but
what I'm here for.
Okay, definitely. You're a beautiful woman, though.
Thank you.
But I respect your answer.
Yeah, let's go back here. Okay, if we can start off with your name and age.
I'm Shay and I'm 37.
How you doing, Shay?
Bro. You can't even make this up. Her voice sounds like a chain smoker, 37, overweight,
Doing amazing.
3,
What do you do?
So I work for the county and I have my own
employed by the state, of course. Check out my previous video when I talked about this.
hair business.
When Elon Musk talked about how we need to reduce the jobs, and I said, it's because they employ useless.
And a few other little small businesses.
All right, and why did you end up popping your balloon?
So originally I was feeling it. I like I don't want to say a bad boy, but I like somebody that's outspoken. But the question of,
They view masculine as outspoken. This is how much feminism has psyoped their brains.
I feel like you're challenging the women. Oh, how many baby daddies you got? And then
I rejected you because I feel like you're challenging the women. And as boss queen 3s that are overweight with kids, I think that we shouldn't be challenged because we're clearly perfect goddesses, embodiments of Aphrodite herself, pure femininity, she says while she croaks out the words in an octave lower than my own voice.
it just does that matter? You say future, so that's they past.
Bro, her voice sounds like a man and she's rejecting him because she doesn't want to be judged. Make it make sense.
I think future. How many kids do you have?
I have one daughter. She's 19.
Do you want more?
I do.
My balloon still pop because I don't want any more.
Okay.
You don't want any
That
more?
was so weird. Why was she looking around as if oh my gosh, can you believe this man wants kids?
I have one daughter. She's 19. I have one daughter. She's 19.
Do you want more?
I do.
My balloon still pop because I don't want any more.
Okay.
You don't want any more?
Not at all. I
You
have.
can't
I have
have
one.
any more. You
No, I'm
choose
choosing-
not
I
to
choose
have
not.
one.
Well played, sir. Yeah, you're 37. What do you mean you don't want to? You can't.
Have anymore. I have a
Okay.
almost 14-year-old and
Okay, yeah. Well, the reason for me asking their past about the baby daddies because it lets me know where they're going in their future.
Yes, very well said. Also, Fresh and Fit talk about that all the time. A woman's past indicates to men what their future is. And if you're an effeminate man, if you're a soy, if you're a bait, if you're a freak, if you're a feminist who buys cat food, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's oppressive, literally, toxic, misogyny, holy shit, that's standards, oh my gosh. Only women are allowed to have those. Just like you deny men for emotional reasons, men deny women for rational reasons. Because rationality, logic, and reason allow us to understand the world. And if there is a trend line of data, which is 1 baby daddy, 2 baby daddy, 3 baby daddy, but over here the white girls, Betsy, Becca, Brianna, they don't have any kids. It's easier to go date them. Anyway, the point is men use logic and rationality, but women view that as oppression. Or I should rephrase, women who are possessed by the degeneracy of feminism view that as oppression. And so you're seeing in front of you the positive feedback loop of why these girls keep themselves single. They're literally on a show because they're single, trying to fix that. And you're seeing in front of you why they're single. Because they demonize masculinity. They literally can't stand a man saying, I have standards too. They reject him for that when they're beneath him in every category measurable. Except weight, if you know what I'm saying.
If you didn't want to have a baby daddy for the second time, then that lets me know that you was uncareful of what you're dealing with.
Do you
Right,
know-
exactly. That's rational. That's logical. But see, she's not gonna be able to handle that because what she heard is, you're oppressing me.
necessarily
Okay.
believe that somebody's past is their past that don't determine their future.
Right, your past doesn't determine your future. Anyway, yeah, this girl has been dancing as a stripper for the last 25 years. I think maybe she'd make a good mother. Well, simps think that, freaks think that, but men who have been red-pilled over the last several years, no, we'd rather date a girl with morals who has self-worth, who could be a good mother. Oh my gosh, literally oppression, that's so toxic. Why don't you want a stripper as a mom for your kids?
Because I mean, I can look at you and say like you made people make mistakes, and it could happen.
His mistakes aren't equivalent to yours. There's that emotional conflation going on here, and this is the reason why women are not equipped to go at odds with men and why feminism is, again, such a poison. Because when they try to debate men, they end up committing so many logical fallacies that it just embarrasses them further, causes them to be more humiliated, therefore more resentful and angry, and therefore to make more decisions that hurt them and actually benefit men. And so this is the reason why you're seeing a pulling apart of young men versus young women going out of high school. Women are told that out of high school, women are told that any form of masculinity, objective order, logic, reason, coherence is all predatory, masculine, patriarchal, misogynistic, the list goes on. And then men are like, well, actually, men who embody reality seem to be winning in every category. And when I look up at the top 5% of men, they have everything they want and all the women are chasing them. I guess I'll just become one of those guys. And so our culture has created a dynamic where men have the potential to ultra win and women are literally losing on every single front as they're listening to Taylor Swift and becoming overweight, thinking that they're boss queens in their 30s while they buy cat food and are single. Oh my gosh, Taylor Swift said that she's a cat lady, so I must have a good life, right? Meanwhile, the biggest group of people on antidepressants are single, childless women between the ages of 40 and 55.
I feel like once or twice.
But all that's data. That's facts. So again, us men, we can appreciate that, but to them, oh my gosh, oppression, logic, rationality, oh, that's discrimination.
Okay, some things become a choice, but
No,
your past
no.
doesn't determine.
When
it
it comes to once is a mistake. Twice, that's on you.
Okay, so then say like you get into a relationship with somebody, you get married, and things don't work. So then I guess you made.
And it's all his fault, right? Shout out to Pearl, who's like, yeah, the number one thing that I see women doing is leaving men with their kids, just walking out of families because they, quote, outgrew him. So why'd you leave him? Did he abuse you? No. Did he do anything wrong at all? No, of course not. I'm just a boss queen. I outgrew him.
a mistake, and then so you once is a mistake, and then twice is. I don't believe in that because I believe things happen.
Right. I don't believe in reality. I don't believe that I have to take accountability for things. The only solution to this type of degeneracy is consequences. And it's a shame because it's so sad that these people can't learn from logic and rationality the way we can. But the only way they're going to learn is by being miserable, single, and childless between the ages of 40 and 70, and their lives are going to suck. It's going to be miserable, and the younger generation is going to look at these miserable women who are complaining and blaming men for every single problem that they're having, and there's going to be a tsunami wave of these women that's just going to be the most miserable and dedicated to resentment and complaining out of any generation the world has ever seen. And the young women are going to look at these people and think, wow, I'm either going to take on this resentment, this intergenerational trauma is really what it is, self-induced trauma, but still trauma, or I can choose to be a feminine, compliant woman who enjoys her life and has a family and has a man take care of her. The future's coming, and Father Time always wins. But as Elon Musk has said, and as I've said actually multiple times in different videos, it's a lot more efficient to learn using logic and rationality, basically coherent mental models, than it is to learn from consequences. Because if you're learning from consequences, the cost is often way higher. Think about it. If you can imagine a situation where you get pulled over for speeding and then therefore don't speed, versus if you only learn by getting pulled over by police, then you end up potentially paying a lot in fines or going to jail. So it's a lot more efficient to learn by using your internal reason of, I shouldn't break the law. Okay, now I'm not going to break the law. But most modern women, especially if they're possessed by feminism, are completely incapable of that because that mechanism is too patriarchal, which is therefore oppressive.
Happy.
Sweetheart, twice is on you.
Okay,
You
but-
should have learned from that very first
No,
mistake. Okay?
lessons are-
Dude, she's literally saying, no, I shouldn't have learned from my mistake. Listen to that again.
Twice is on you.
Okay,
You
but-
should have learned from that very first
No,
mistake. Okay?
lessons are-
And-
Dude, she's in her 30s and has had probably, let's say, 5 to 10 years to think about this. And she is on stage in front of what's going to be millions, 3 million people, saying that she's not going to learn from her mistakes. Think about that. That is how narcissistic feminism makes women.
Not
learn.
saying that your child is a mistake, right?
She's shaking her head saying, I don't want to learn from my mistakes. This is how men and women are different. This is the reason why she actually doesn't qualify for him. He's so far above her.
But the fact that you chose the wrong man to have kids with, and secondly, not to have a marriage after the next
See, this is the reason why women need men in their lives, because they're not capable of engaging in this level of logic and reason. But feminism prevents that because it tells them that any form of masculinity should be avoided. And so this is the reason they're single, and they're kept single, and they wonder why that they're single when they reject masculinity over and over and over and over and over and over again. This is a really, really important video I'm uploading here, guys, and I hope you understand everything that's going on here. Be sure to subscribe.
one or before
Marriage
the next
doesn't
one.
determine, and I'm a person that wants to be married, but marriage don't determine anything. I didn't know.
Bro, compare this thing right here that's saying she doesn't want to learn from her mistakes to this. And ask yourself, why is she single? Ask yourself, which woman is having a better life right now? Which one is more feminine? Which one is more compliant? Which one's more likely to be a mother with a loving husband and children and a good family and household? Oh, but I'm a boss queen.
People to be married for a long time and it don't work out, baby. So
Okay.
yeah, you are no, honey, but
Okay.
you're too aggressive now.
No problem.
And notice how she's getting upset and starting to call him names, even though he's above her when he's pointing out how she's wrong and holding her accountable. No, oh my gosh, marriage is bad because I've seen people get divorced before because my brain's incapable of processing data statistics, so I just rely on anecdotes, and I've seen marriages fail before, so therefore my mistakes are justified, and I'm just going to say that I shouldn't confront my mistakes in front of 3 million people. The thought process of these women is actually hijacked. If these women sound incompetent, that's because they are, and the problem is actually that serious.
Oh, well, you know, the aggressiveness, that comes from a Southern man, right?
Baby, let me explain
And we
something to
stand
you.
on what we
My
talking
roots
about.
come from Texas, so
Okay, I'm from New
Dude,
Orleans,
she literally like has a man's chin right now.
right?
baby, let me explain
And we
something to
stand
you.
on what we talking
my roots
about.
come from Texas, so
Okay, I'm from New Orleans.
okay, so
You know what I
the
mean?
South,
So
the
when
battles
you-
of the South,
All right,
like I
Brian,
said.
Brian, let's move on.
Okay,
Let's move on. Let's
no
move on.
problem. Have a good day, love.
If we can have your name and age.
Hi, my name is Shay, and
These women wonder why they're single. They actually go home and think to themselves, it's not my fault. She just said that she's not going to learn from anything. She said that she doesn't want to learn from her mistakes when asked directly. She said no. And so they will go home and tell themselves, it's not my fault the reason I'm single after behaving like this. And let me remind all women of something. When you act masculine, you're not fooling anybody. It's like a guy that tries to act feminine. It's like a gay guy that tries to act feminine, and talk like a woman. All women see through it. They don't think of you as the same. We don't think of you as the same as us. And it's actually we mock and scorn you when you try to act masculine because it's cringe. It's pathetic. It's incompetent. It's definitionally a failure down to the level of every cell in your body. So feminism really has hijacked women when they tell them, oh my gosh, yeah, you should compete with men now. You should debate with them. You should disagree with them because that'll go well for you. That'll make sure that you have a good life. Because remember, you can never give into masculinity because that's order. And giving into order is accepting a manifested embodiment of objective reality, which the resentment of Marxism cannot accept. So this is the reason why they're single.
I'm 37.
And Shay, what do you
Hello,
do?
Shay.
I am an insurance adjuster, and I'm just waiting to take my real estate license.
Very nice. And why did you end up popping your balloon?
Just based off of the energy, I didn't want to pop it too soon. I like to feel you out first, but just based off of the energy and the conversations that
Overweight too.
My responses and the women that I responded to, you didn't like the responses?
just
This
the
guy's doing a great job.
energy from it. Yeah.
This guy's doing a great job of exposing how these women are so far beneath him. If she's a 2, if the girl in the purple's a 2, this is a 1.
We can have your name and age.
You're literally seeing a 1 say why she is not going to, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to date you. And then they wonder why black men don't anyway.
Davinia, and I'm 41.
And Davinia, what do you do?
I'm a compliance analyst. Balloon. I was waiting because I was trying to feel the energy, the vibe, the connection, chemistry.
Right. Well, that served you really well now, hasn't it? How old are you again? Again, the artificial nature of all of this, the idea that she is in a position to evaluate him while she's a 1. Wow.
Handsome gentleman. So I was trying to give it some time, but then it started to feel like an attack. And I don't.
Oh my gosh, it started to feel like an attack when you asked a woman if she would take accountability or learn literally anything from her 3 failed baby fathers. Anyway, that felt like an attack to me. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up, dude. And these women blame men for why they're single. Women are naturally emotional. They don't understand this language of logic that we speak. This is the reason why they need men. But feminism tells them to avoid men because masculinity is toxic. This is how they are psyoping women and destroying their lives. This was a super important video, guys. Super, super important. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys like this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.